an industrial marvel, the likes of which the world had never seen. It would be known forever as the Rouge, and by the late 1920s it was in full-scale production.
Ford F-150 gets built. Ford designed the system from the ground up, literally. The building itself is specific into the sewer system, like most plants do. The roof also has two different kinds of skylights, and this allows a significant amount of light to be brought into the plant, thereby reducing the amount of energy need for lighting. The lighting system actually takes this into account and adjusts accordingly. As you might guess from the size of the building, the assembly line inside is massive. It weaves back and forth has multiple layers, literally going from the ground floor all the way up about 3 or 4 stories. And the vehicles and the parts and everything move throughout this entire system. It's all mechanized, but it's integrated with people that are actually working on the assembly line.
We talked about the engines that were made across in Canada. Is that for like the EcoBoost 3.5 or not?
The engines are made in Ohio and in Windsor, so I'm not sure which ones are going where. I'm sorry about that.
Which one's the steel mill?
So the steel mill, if you look in the background, you're going to see the rust-colored buildings starting over here,
Right.
and they're going to be stretching over to where you see the, I believe it's 6 stacks over there. So that is the steel operations. Ford got out of the steel business back in the 80s. They are still operating. It's outfit out of Ohio, Cleveland Cliffs. So they are still making steel there, but it is no longer Ford.
The red buildings?
Yeah, the rust color, yes.
So they make more than chassis, because the body's aluminum, but the chassis is still steel.
Yes, the chassis is still steel.
Do they still make engine blocks here?
There is an engine plant here, but they do not make engines for the trucks here.
Okay. Okay, but they do make engines here.
Yes.
I see. So the steel mill, like, is this steel for the engine blocks or for the frames?
No, the steel, it's Cleveland Cliffs. I know they're a big supplier for General Motors, but anything being made over there is not coming directly over here.
Oh,
to
it's
the
not.
plant
Okay.
anymore.
So they're not blast furnaces, are they?
Yes, yes.
They are.
Yeah, so blast furnace, if you look over, if you see the tall stacks on top of the paint shop, that dark colored tower, that's a blast furnace there.
Yeah.
So how many people have you working in this location?
Okay, in the complex itself, Ford Motor has about 6,000 people working here. When you get over to the final assembly plant, there are about 1,200 workers on each shift.
Do they still have the power plant?
The power plant, the original power plant, if you look straight out that way, you'll see that brown brick building. That's the original one. If you go to the left, you'll see that kind of beige colored building across Miller Road.
Yeah.
That is where the current power is coming from. Ford operates that with a local utility, so it provides all the electricity for the complex. And there's actually more electricity that goes into the local grid.
Coal fire?
It's gas.
When we came in on the bus, I saw the CN engine switching a couple boxcars. I see a pretty good sized yard out there. How many cars come in here a day?
How many, I don't know. It's a daily operation. Interestingly, when Henry Ford was contemplating this complex, people were saying, well, why don't you put it on the Detroit River? You'll have direct access for all these freighters coming in. But there was an existing rail network right here, as well as a road network. So he wanted to make it right here and make it kind of a central location. He wanted this to be a hub with railroad, the river, roadways going out in all directions from this way. So the Rouge River forms the southern part of the complex here, the border. It flows out to the Detroit River. It's about 1.5 miles. So what they did, the first production that the complex was 1918. It was Eagle boats for the United States government. So the Army Corps of Engineers are actually the ones who dredged up the Rouge River so that the big freighters could make their way into the complex here.
They listed in right at the beginning of World War II that they changed production, and it also showed like Jeep. What was made here?
For World War II, they made Jeeps here, they made amphibious vehicles, they made aircraft engines, as well as a myriad of other things, but those were the big items that they made here. They said that the facility was so big they actually didn't know how to fully utilize it, so it was actually underutilized during the war.